west by the trade winds of the east. An Asian melting pot awash with folklore. A 21st century commercial center of gleaming steel and glass. A modern city with ancient roots. International Video Network welcomes you on this video visit to Singapore. Emerald parks full of orchids and bougainvillea, jackfruit and jasmine give Singapore the name the Garden City. High-rises seem to grow right out of the tropical vegetation, towering over modern shopping complexes, luxury hotels, exotic bazaars and temples where the Chinese, Malays and Indians who live here carry on their age-old customs. Singapore is an intriguing mix of old and new. In less than a generation, Singapore has moved from the abacus to the computer age. It is a cultural center that offers everything from Hindu body transcendence rituals to computerized aquatic light shows. Singapore is a growing financial capital where more than 40 international banks compete in the eternal race for the dollar. And throughout Asia, Singapore's economy is second only to Japan's. Singapore's port is one of the busiest in the world. Hundreds of ships anchor in her harbor, waiting for a berth to unload goods from all over the globe, and to load up on such commodities as tin, rubber, coconuts, oil, rice, timber, jute, spices, and coffee. Singapore lies just 1 degree north of the equator at the tip of the Malay Peninsula, where the Pacific and Indian Oceans meet. The heart of this great trading city lies at the mouth of the Singapore River, and its history is rooted in the sea. In the 7th century, Singapore was a trading center of an ancient Sumatran empire known as Temasek, or Sea Town. A prince visiting in the 13th century named it Singapura, or Lion City, after spotting what he thought was a lion. The 14th century saw the empires of Java and Siam struggle for regional dominance, with the Chinese admiral Cheng Ho, who was established in the Malayan port of Malacca. Within 100 years, Singapura was destroyed and reclaimed by the jungle until the arrival of Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles of the British East India Company in 1819. Recognizing the island's strategic location, he shortened the name to Singapore and declared the island a British free port. And it again became a flourishing trading center, drawing merchants and their goods from all over the world. Today, an 8-meter statue of a merlion, half fish, half lion, overlooks the river. The merlion is the symbol of Singapore, providing a welcome to visitors by day or night. Nearby, remnants of Singapore's graceful colonial past are still visible in the buildings that cluster around the Padang, or village green. The stately City Hall, with its Corinthian columns, stands next to the domed Supreme Court. Parliament House rubs shoulders with the Victoria Memorial Hall and Theatre, its elegant clock tower rising above the Singapore Cricket Club. A bronze statue of Raffles commands Empress Palace and gazes out over the river. The gleaming spire of St. Andrew's Cathedral pierces the sky, symbolizing the aspirations of this colonial period. Post-war Singapore remained a British Crown colony until it became a new self-governing state in 1959. Today, it is a clean, cosmopolitan center of commerce, communications, and industry. An ultra-modern city whose colorful past is always close at hand. Singapore's population of 2.6 million is a diverse melting pot of races. The Chinese make up 77% of the total, representing 5 principal ethnic groups: Fokien, Tso Tsao, Cantonese, Hakka, and Hoi Lamese. Over the years, the lines have blurred, developing a common ground among the Chinese, but the diversity still remains. The Malays, who were the original settlers here, represent 15% of the total population, and the Indians, who have come from all parts of the subcontinent, make up 7%. The many faces of Singapore best describe the city-state's character: energetic, intense, and playful. Chinese traditions run deep, and a glimpse into this fascinating culture can be found in the narrow streets of Chinatown. Here, extravagant temples stand next to simple shops and clan houses. Chinatown, day or night, is a carnival. Worship is a cornerstone of Chinese life, and Singapore's Chinese temples range from simple altars to elaborate monasteries embellished with figurines. Traditional Chinese belief combines the teachings of Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism, and it is not uncommon for temples to be devoted to all three. Taoism, which is the oldest Chinese religious philosophy, aims at personal perfection through an understanding and conformity with the principles of nature or the Tao. Most Taoist gods are actually historical people who exhibited extraordinary spiritual powers as a result of being in tune with nature or the Tao. The practice of Tai Chi has Taoist origins, in that it seeks to bring the basic elements of nature, the yin and the yang, into balance within the individual. For the Chinese, the material world and the spiritual world are one, and these temples provide a bridge between everyday life and its underlying spiritual essence. Singapore's oldest Chinese temple, the Temple of Heavenly Happiness, was built in 1840 as a joss house. It was the first stop for all new arrivals, where they would give thanks to Ma Chu Po, the mother of heavenly sages, for their safe journey over the sea. The Sakyamuni Buddha Gaya Temple, or the Temple of 1,000 Lights, was built entirely by a Thai monk named Vudisasara. The 50-foot Buddha, encircled by a nimbus of 1,000 lights, creates the feeling of the Great Wats of Thailand. Many sacred items are on display here. A piece of bark from the sacred Bodhi tree, a mother-of-pearl replica of Buddha's footprint, a shrine to Mahatma Gandhi. All convey the quiet, peaceful way of life that is Buddhism. When Raffles arrived, Singapore was a Malay fishing village. The Malays, whose traditions stress family, religion, and a quiet way of life, have had to adapt more to modern ways than Singapore's other ethnic groups, but they are still at the heart of the nation's identity. They are Muslims, avidly following the faith that was spawned in the Middle East and now sweeps in a crescent from the southern Philippines across Indonesia and up through Malaysia. 5 times a day, they are called to prayer by the muezzin from one of Singapore's 80 mosques. Sultan Mosque, with its high domes and minarets, is the center of Singapore's Islamic life. Across the road, Arab Street is a Muslim bazaar with all the riches of the Middle East. Commerce is never far from the minds of Singapore's third largest ethnic group, the Indians. All along Serangoon Road, in the heart of Little India, open-air shops offer everything one could find in the bazaars of Delhi or Madras. Mounds of spices for hot South Indian curries erupt in rainbow colors. Shimmering silks and gold-flecked saris spill out of the fabric shops, beckoning women of all cultures. Serangoon Road's bedazzling hustle and bustle captures the spirit of the subcontinent and presents it here in the streets of Singapore. Flowers play a special role in Indian life, used in everything from simple family celebrations to elaborate temple festivals. Every Indian bazaar has a flower shop where men are busy stringing garlands, creating a magical riot of fragrance and color. Many of Singapore's Indians are Hindu, and signs of this ancient religion are everywhere, from red tikas on women's foreheads to elaborate temples covered with brightly painted statues of the deities. Hinduism is a religion of deep traditions and fascinating rituals, dedicated to one supreme being represented by the trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Fire and water are important symbols in Hindu worship, which creates a fervent enthusiasm in its followers. The oldest important Hindu temple is Sri Mariamman, located ironically in Chinatown. Its ornate entrance, crowded with colorful figurines, reflects the entire cast of Hinduism's rich mythology. The festival of Thaipusam presents feats of endurance that are amazing to the Western mind. Penitents who are keeping vows and honoring Lord Subramaniam work themselves into a trance, push steel skewers through their cheeks and tongues, and walk for miles under the weight of steel cages called kavadis that pierce their flesh, miraculously leaving no trace of wounds. The diverse mix of culture lights up the streets of Singapore with festivals almost every month of the year. Eating out in Singapore is everyone's favorite pastime, and it's easy to understand why. The island may offer the finest variety of food to be found anywhere in the world. From the dining rooms of deluxe hotels to street-side hawker stalls, a culinary adventure awaits even the most experienced traveler. Fresh seafood from Singapore's tropical waters is a staple of all diets. Traditionally, Singapore's main source of income was the South China Sea. Today, the ocean's bounty comes to the table in a stunning variety of ways. Leaping flames fanned by expert cooks, sizzling meat and exquisite aromas characterize the most popular dish, satay. Satay is skewered, marinated meat roasted over charcoal and dipped in a spicy peanut sauce. At the Satay Club across from the Padang, the nightly gathering of satay cooks is a festival of billowing smoke, glowing coals, and barbecue artistry like nowhere in the world. Spicy and fragrant Indian curries from all parts of the subcontinent are accompanied by a favorite Indian bread, roti prata. A favorite of Indian Muslims is a mutton and egg concoction folded in a paper-thin pancake made by twirling dough in ever-widening circles, murtabak. Hawker stalls offer an astounding variety of exotic foods and a popular and fun way to sample the cuisines of the East. Newton's Circus is a carnival of food offering everything from Chinese noodles to Western barbecue, where everybody speaks a little English.
Besides the pork roll and a fish, spring roll and a sweet potato yam and a fried prawn, scallop and chicken meat.
Exotic fruit of the tropics is never far from hand, and hawker stalls offer the chance to sample varieties not found at home, from the hairy rambutan to the foul-smelling but exquisite durian. Durian is known to Asians as the king of fruit and is prized by the Malays, who will go to great lengths to satisfy their passion for it. The Chinese consider it one of the yang foods, a powerful aphrodisiac. Because of its strong odor, it has been banned in hotels, airplanes, and other enclosed public areas. But nonetheless, the best way to choose a durian is to sniff it. Durians are the most expensive Asian fruit, sometimes fetching a price as high as $25 a piece. For the visitors seeking something more familiar, fine continental cuisine is available just across the road in any one of Singapore's world-class hotels, where expert chefs whip up delicious Western fare. Singapore's hotels pride themselves on their traditional Asian standard of service. They range from the 19th century colonial charm of the Goodwood Park to the ultra-modern high-rises of the most prestigious international chains. The best reminder of Singapore's British heritage is the famous Raffles Hotel, built in 1887 by two Armenian immigrants. This neo-Renaissance building, immortalized in the writings of Joseph Conrad, Noel Coward, Rudyard Kipling, and Somerset Maugham, became the very symbol of the old colonial Raj. During the 20s, it was the hub of British social life, where couples danced the night away and bachelors would hope to cut in. Today, it is still one of the most elegant hotels in all of Asia. The Singapore Sling was invented here in the Long Bar. This heady concoction became so popular that sipping one in the Palm Court was a must for all travelers who arrived here. A refreshing combination of gin, Peter Herring liqueur, a few drops of Benedictine and Cointreau, a dash of Angostura bitters, orange, pineapple, and lime juices. The Singapore Sling and the Palm Court make an irresistible tradition on a hot, tropical day. Visitors don't have to go far from their hotel rooms to take part in an activity which draws locals and tourists alike, shopping. Singapore's duty-free status makes it a bargain basement for the exotica of the East and high-tech gadgetry of the West. A favorite place for shoppers looking for exotic Asian goods is the Handicraft Center, a cluster of shops specializing in arts and crafts of 16 Asian countries. It offers everything from Malaysian pewter to Thai silk. Visitors interested in traditional handicrafts can observe the artisans at work, practicing skills passed down through generations. Their workshops are open to the public. When the fast pace of shopping becomes too much, a tranquil retreat waits just a short ride from the Orchard Road Emporia, the Singapore Botanic Gardens. Sheltering almost 500,000 species of plants, this public park and research center has been in bloom for more than 100 years. It's a favorite place for locals to escape for quiet moments and enjoy the beauty of this garden city among flowers of 1,000 shapes, smells, and colors. On the north end of the island, the Singapore Zoological Gardens provide a lush and idyllic home to their 170 animal species, most of which are native to Southeast Asia. Hardly a fence is seen here, and the animals are so content that a friendly orange-haired orangutan will join visitors for breakfast. The zoo is a garden inhabited by exotic animals peering out from behind the flowers. On the west side of the island, Jurong Bird Park offers a unique and magical journey into the world of birds. Home to 3,000 rare and exotic birds from all over the world, including the red bird of paradise, found in no other zoo. The park boasts the world's tallest man-made waterfall and largest walk-in aviary. A walk through this aviary is a strange and wonderful immersion into the ethereal light of a rainforest, the air filled with the sound and the dazzling colors of the birds. Not all the birds here are confined to the aviary quarters. Some are trained to entertain audiences in twice-daily bird shows. A short ferry or cable car ride from Singapore's southern shore lies Sentosa Island, Isle of Tranquility. Sentosa is Singapore's playground, with a wonderland of attractions, all reached by monorail. Fine beaches and swimming lagoons provide fun for children of all ages. An 18-hole championship golf course will challenge the most dedicated golfer. The Corallarium displays all the wonders of the deep, more than 3,000 shells from the surrounding seas. The coral reef community of tropical fish and seahorses, giant sea turtles, and other exotic sea life. The Wax Museum recreates Singapore's history with amazingly lifelike scenes, including General Itagaki surrendering to Lord Louis Mountbatten in 1945. The Rare Stone Museum houses the only collection of its kind in the world. Mysterious images of birds, animals, and landscapes appear in the natural veined patterns of these stones. The 19th century Fort Siloso, built by the British, is a complex of tunnels, gun emplacements, bunkers, and cannons gone silent with the passing of time. The British left many an enduring legacy, but none more staunchly defended than cricket, played on the Padang under the gleaming spire of St. Andrew's Cathedral. And in the late afternoon, the sharp crack of the mallet on the ball and the pounding of the horse's hooves heralds the age-old game of polo, played until the sun goes down. When the sun goes down, the lights come up, and Singapore comes alive with a dazzling variety of entertainment, from cultural shows to the throbbing beat of the discos. Across the harbor, a fantastic light and water show takes place at Sentosa Island. The computer-controlled fountains dance 60 feet in the air to synchronized music. Singapore is not only a destination in itself, it is a gateway to all of Southeast Asia. Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, the Philippines, all easily accessible from this hub of the East. But the soul of Singapore is found in the streets, in the faces of its friendly people. A magical world of color and light, of peoples from all over Asia is here, waiting in the fabled streets of Singapore.